Hello, critics, non-critics, and friends. Welcome to the Film Optix podcast, where we take a glance into comic book movies, blockbusters, indie films, and everything in between. I'm your host, Christian, and I'm here with friend of the show, Tessa Smith, a.k.a. Mama's Geeky, and we're here to talk about one of the best DC TV series of all time, Peacemaker Season 1. And of course, I'm always joined by my co-host, Devin. And we're going to get into a little bit of housekeeping here before we get into today's episode. But before we get into that, Tessa, Devin, how are you guys doing today?
So good. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I'm doing swell. I have one question.
What?
Do you really want to taste it?
Yes. I love
there
it.
You go. There. I can
Let's check the
taste
Spotify numbers on that bad boy. I'm sure it's
I've been listening to that for a while. Like it's every time I work out, like it's kind of like my wake up jam song now. And like the entire soundtrack is pretty awesome too. I'm like, it's some good stuff. Just hardcore, just rock in and out, all highs, no lows, really. And it kind of just it makes you feel well.
It's James Gunn. He knows what he's doing when it comes to soundtracks, you know?
Yep.
Right. It's like, I mean, he's kind of like the master of needle drops. Because that's what he's seen within this series. It's just very, man, it's like everything just hits just right. And that's what I absolutely love about it. Devin, you got a number on that?
Looking like it's at about 5.5 million listens.
Wow. My gosh. I wonder what it was at before. Prior to everyone,
that would be nice to see.
Yeah, because I've heard of Wigworm before, but I've never really listened to any of their stuff. So I think they're an 80s-esque band. I really don't know. Millennial here, so I have no clue. But
there's a lot of obscure 80s like pop rock type bands in this series here.
Yeah, I mean the 80s were a great time for music, 100%. I mean, you got Michael Jackson, you got my gosh, I'm blanking on everyone else's name. And I do apologize.
It's a great time for music. There's one person I can say.
Oh my God. It's been a long day, y'all, and I do apologize 100%. But let's get into our housekeeping here before we dive into our coverage of Peacemaker Season 1. Before we begin today's episode, you can listen to our podcast on platforms around the internet. That includes Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Audible, iHeartRadio, you name it. And if you are a new or seasoned listener to the show, we'd love to hear from you guys. Follow us on Instagram and follow us on Twitter at FilmOptix. That is Optix with an X. Or you can email us at filmoptix@gmail.com for any movie-related questions. So, Tessa, Devin, are you guys ready to jump in to our Peacemaker Season 1 review?
Yes, let's do it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after this introduction to Peacemaker Season 1.
I thought you were in prison for life.
I work for the government.
Post office?
You think they'd let me out of prison to deliver mail?
I don't know. It's the first government job I could think of.
I kill people for them, okay?
This task force doesn't officially exist, which leaves us on our own.
We call our targets butterflies. They are a serious threat to the safety of American citizens.
There's something weird going on. You think me and Vigilante are too stupid to notice.
Hey, everyone! Which one's me and which one's Eagly?
Okay, you're half right, but you score 50% on the test at school. What do you get? A D. School wasn't my bag. It's for dorks.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and we just came back from our Peacemaker introduction, and the series info is as follows. This is directed and written by James Gunn for the most part. There are a few other writers and directors that are credited to the series as well, and stars John Cena, Danielle Brooks, Freddie, Stroma, Jennifer Holland, and much, much more. And the plot is as follows. Picking up where the Suicide Squad 2021 left off, Peacemaker returns home after recovering from his encounter with Bloodsport, only to discover that his freedom comes at a price.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh my gosh. It's such I love the plot synopsis because it doesn't really give anything away.
Not at all.
And it's kind of like a continuation of the Suicide Squad. Which actually my friend texted me the other day and he was like, why do people hate the Suicide Squad movie so much? And I was like, well, because it sucks. And I thought he was talking
about Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. And I sent him a picture. I'm like, what does the cover look like? He's like, I don't know what that is, but it looks like this. And he was talking about the Suicide Squad. I was like, oh, no, you're fine. You're good. Like you're watching the right version, the right one.
Yes.
He didn't know there was discourse. He's not a big movie person, but he was like, yeah, he's like, thanks for letting me know because I was going to go watch the other one after this. I'm like, no need.
Please don't.
Just don't do that to yourself. It's not necessary.
Exactly. I was like, okay, well, it's nice to know you chose right. I'm like, what are you watching this on? He's like, HBO Max. I'm like, okay, so it could be either or, but I really don't know. But yeah, I'm really glad that he chose right. It's that's what it's about at the end of the day. Just spreading the good word of the Suicide Squad.
I loved that movie because it's so James Gunn, which is I think what I love about this series because it's so James Gunn. Like. It kind of makes me a little sad. I don't know if you guys feel this way too, but I'm like, man, I kind of want Marvel to like just let James Gunn do what he wants to do. Clearly, he knows what he's doing, and I feel like we could get more out of him when it comes to Marvel titles. So
you mean like going rated R, or like just kind of giving him full creative?
Even just going, I think he said he had some notes on the first Guardians, and then not as many on the second, and then so I'm kind of hoping on the third they just let him like. Do his thing because I would be cool with R-rated because like I don't mind language. I love blood and gore, which is Marvel doesn't really do that, but it's in the here, yes, for sure. So I'd like to see that. I want him to tackle an R-rated Marvel sometime. Why not?
That would actually be pretty cool because I believe, and we'll get into it a little bit later. I believe Marvel actually helped them shoot a few scenes. I was like, that's okay. I like that a lot.
I liked it too. I'm like, does this mean we'll have a crossover, please?
I don't know how that process even started. Like,
I have no clue. Maybe it was just
the scenes
timing.
they shot were not Marvel related.
Right. They weren't? What? Those aren't Marvel characters?
It's weird because we kind of see it with Marvel, with the Eternals, and they make little jabs at Batman, Superman there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because, they're just two companies trying to tell the best stories they can for the properties that they own. And, it's like this.
It does matter if you're an old director with a movie coming out.
Oh my god!
Because you have to despise all of them.
And everyone keeps asking them. I'm like, stop asking them what they think. They're not going to be nice.
It doesn't make. It's just if it's not superhero related for whatever they're working on, like I get it. Like you're very interested to see what everyone else thinks about these movies, but at the same time, just stick to the cards, as Effie would say in Hunger Games. Just stick to the cards. That's all you got to do. But it's. Oh man, like it's funny to see like the older generation when it comes to like older directorials like responses, but at the same time, how many times can you ask the same question over and over? It's
you'd be surprised.
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh cool, you have like an interview with like Rupert Grint or Emma Watson or Daniel Radcliffe, and all you're doing is asking about Harry Potter questions.
Well, they want to get the views and the clicks, so
exactly
that's why.
Yeah, it's like, man, it's like they've been like obviously it'll always be a part of their life, but if they're like in a different movie and it's like all you do is ask them Harry Potter questions, it's like, well, let's focus on them now, at least for now. Yeah.
I feel like the studio feels that way too.
Yeah, the studio.
I would.
The studios are just like secretly putting people on their blacklist.
Yes, probably.
Like, okay. But yeah, it's crazy. I mean, everyone's going to have their opinions about when it comes to superhero content. And I don't know if people really view it as a threat or something of that nature, but it's here, and I feel like it's here to stay. I mean, this is and this is miles better than anything we've gotten when we were kids, when it comes to live action, at least. So it's some crazy stuff. But as of right now, I believe Peacemaker is the #1 DCEU, because I wasn't sure if it was going to be extended universe or not. It is the #1 DCEU TV show. But then I realized, okay, so Titans doesn't count, and neither does Doom Patrol. So I guess this technically is the only DCEU show out there. I think, from what I've seen. I don't know.
I don't know where the technicality falls.
I don't think they know either. That's the thing.
Yeah, right,
They're just going with it.
I would still probably think this is one of the top. The only thing is because of the language and some people will fall off of it. Some people don't like that stuff. I have a friend who won't watch anything that's R-rated.
Really?
Yeah, she does not like language. So
fair enough.
And it's very juvenile humor, of course, throughout. So if you're not into that, then turn around now. and then also turn around when the Vigilante spinoff comes out.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm waiting for that. I'm really hoping we get either like a Ratcatcher or Bloodsport spinoff, because apparently, there's a lot of news happening.
I had tweeted before we even got Peacemaker, I had tweeted something at James Gunn now we need one for every other member of the Suicide Squad, and he was like, "Oh, you're giving me a heart attack," or something like that. And I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
He could pull it off though. That's the thing.
Could. I'm like, I want one for.
If he had like 6 James Gunns working on it at once, just pumping them out
into 6. That would be hilarious. But I wanted to get your guys' initial reactions on season 1 overall. We'll start with Tessa, then go to Devin, then I'll close out. So Tessa, what were your initial reactions of season 1 as a whole?
I mean, I was all in from the first episode anyway. Like I said before we started recording, the second they made that joke about Aquaman, I was like, I'm in, I'm sold. I don't like Aquaman. I think he's got stupid powers. And don't worry, I feel the same way about Namor, okay? I just have a bias towards these. Exactly. It's equality. I don't know. I just feel like you have dumb powers and you probably do what Peacemaker says you do. And that's weird. So I was all in from there. And then it just continues through. And something I love about James Gunn in every single thing he does, especially when he has an ensemble cast, is he gives every single character their own time to breathe, their own storyline, their own moments to shine, but then also intertwines their relationships really well with each other. So you feel like every single possible combination has something going on that you're interested in. And he makes you care about these people. And he normally does this in a movie setting, but now he has, 8 episodes.
Even more time.
Yes. And it's you fall in love with these characters. Every single one of these characters I enjoy for a reason.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you add the blood and the gore and the language and the amazing music and the completely shocking things that you don't expect to happen, not randomly, but people will blow up at times, crazy stuff. The butterflies look super cool. I mean, I was
the CGI was good too. I was
the CGI
very
was so
surprised.
My only issue with the season at all, and it's such a nitpick that I don't even count it, is it felt very Starro-esque, right? The whole controlling people. I'm I feel like we just saw this in the Suicide Squad, but it was different enough that I was and it was still super entertaining. And it makes you cry. He puts you on this emotional roller coaster. So I loved it from beginning to end. And then the finale, I got up at 2:30 Eastern time this morning to watch it. I'm still awake. So I'm very tired.
Dedication.
But I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it.
That's crazy here. I mean, the whole 2:30 Eastern time. I remember you tweeting that the other day. I was like, I can't even do that.
It'd be 1:30 for you.
Yeah, it'd be 1:30 for me. I'm Central Time, so I grew up Eastern Time. I missed that life. I'm not gonna lie, but
well, if I was Pacific Time, I would have stayed up.
Yeah, for awake, sure. Or even Mountain Time, because it's 12:30. Yeah. There you go. It's all good.
I forced myself to go to sleep at 9:30 or something like that. I was just lay down and go to bed so I could get 5 hours of sleep. Please.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, and then
it was worth it.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I believe the runtime is only around 44 minutes. So it's so much happens within that time, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Devin, what were your initial reactions of season 1?
Yeah, I have to agree. I was kind of blown away, just shocked at how good it ended up being, because I feel like coming out of the Suicide Squad, I should say, coming out of that movie, we got the announcement that a Peacekeeper spinoff was coming. And I think collectively everyone was just like, wait, why Peacemaker? like he was the most disliked character out of that Suicide Squad because of obviously the type of character he is. But I mean,
obviously,
yeah, because of not being very peaceful at the end. But, I love that line though. Peacemaker, what a joke.
Yeah.
That was so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think everyone was just kind of surprised by that announcement. But then you kind of just think about it. John Cena's a bit of a star, so he kind of has that power to carry a series, and then you get a nice crew around him. And James Gunn he's becoming just the king of team up movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like he makes it work. Any ragtag team you can come up with, he will put it together and have you caring about them. Any animal, any rat, any weasel, any raccoon, any eagle, he will get it done. And yeah, it's just these characters are just so entertaining. You fall in love with them right away, and there's such interesting dynamics between all of them, and it's just great.
I mean, obviously, I'm piggybacking off of you guys. When it was first announced, it wasn't like I've always thought John Cena was a fantastic actor when it came to specific roles, like Fast and Furious 9.
Yeah.
Bumblebee.
But, yeah, like he was in what, Cockblockers, I think it was.
That was funny.
He's great in comedic roles.
Yeah,
he has very good timing.
And it was like, him being in the Suicide Squad, I was like, wow, this really works for him. I never disliked his character because I thought he was actually one of the funnier ones, but I didn't know what we were to expect from this show for Peacemaker when they announced it. Everyone's like Devin
it was
said,
very confusing.
Yeah, it's like, oh, like
where do you go from here?
Well, they made people think it was a prequel at first because the movie hadn't come out yet, and then of course he dies at the end supposedly, and then you see him come back. So it was like a weird, like, why do I care about a prequel? Until you realized it was like literally a legit sequel, like they brought him back to life basically, and you're like, oh, okay.
It's like, what do you like going in? You're gonna try to redeem this guy? There's no way that's gonna work.
Yeah,
right.
Well, it works.
It might work. It might actually work.
James Gunn knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect at all, and I wasn't expecting it to kind of fail. And me and Devin were talking about it, when it came to recording it here on the show, and I was like, well, we could. Because there really isn't a lot of movies like coming out towards January, February. It's, for me, I've been watching way more TV than I have been watching movies as of late. Like, I've been watching Barry for the first time, which I'm really first time.
It's so good.
What was done with season 1?
Just wait for season 2, man.
Oh, it's good.
Because season 3 is coming out, and it's kind of like the Ted Lasso effect. Everyone gets on board after same thing with like Game of Thrones and whatnot. But yeah, it's very for Peacemaker. I really enjoyed it. I was like, okay, like let's cover Peacemaker, and I was just sitting there like watching the screeners. I'm like, okay, all right. And then the theme song just kind of got me roped in. And
the first time you hear it, you're like, all right, what is this?
Yeah, you're just kind of stare, and then you start to try to do the moves along with it. I do. I can't, but I try. This show was very infectious.
Yes. And I love how it is the type of show that no one expected to do well, or I can't even say do well. It's just the one show that no one really quote unquote asked for is outperforming. Then it's hitting all these these expectations, and it's like, wow, like I was sitting there watching the screeners. I think we got episodes 1 through 7, and I was like, I kind of just want to keep watching this show right now. And that's what I did. I was like, oh, man.
I watched it weekly, and I'm kind of glad I did it because it was definitely something to look forward to every week.
Yeah, that's a nice experience.
That is, I do miss that.
Because HBO Max did not give us the finale, so I was like, I'm not gonna sit there and watch all of it. The finale's not gonna come out.
That was smart because we had to wait a very long time between episodes 7 and 8. Although I did rewatch them every week, so I watched the screeners when I got them. But then my husband didn't want to watch the screeners. He wanted to watch them weekly, which makes sense because especially when they're not, sound's not always done. He's like, I'll just wait for it to come out. And visuals, which sometimes my favorite thing is when they cut to like a green screen and you're like, what is happening? This is amazing.
That's what happened with me in Raised by Wolves too.
Oh my gosh. Did you see what is the gemstones there? Did you watch those screeners?
No, I did not.
Okay, there's one part where they're all puking and you can just see the tubes like next to them, like taped to their faces. It's the funniest thing. And I was like, this is the best. But anyway, so because of that, he wanted to watch them weekly. So I rewatched them weekly, you know?
That's nice. That's nice. Yeah, I want to go back and rewatch them. I had so much, like, the one show I have been rewatching. I mean, not rewatching, but watching week to week is Euphoria. 100%.
I haven't watched that at all.
It is.
I hear it's good.
It's good. Not for children. Not whatsoever. It's like Degrassi times like 1,000.
Wow.
It is, especially season 2. I mean, it hits on like those specific topics, but in a more in-depth way. Mm-hmm. And I mean, especially for season 2, I can't remember if they did it for season 1. There's a viewer discretion advice, like every single episode. Mm-hmm. But it's crazy stuff. But going back to Peacemaker, it's great. I really loved it. I love the writing. I love the jokes. The dialogue was hilarious. I know that John Cena did a lot of ad lib as well. Yeah. And I was like, wow, this is just great. You know, it's nothing too grand. Like, it is, I guess you could say, you know, world saving, but at the same time, it does hit those emotional beats. And like you guys said, you know, we go on that emotional roller coaster and you start to feel for these characters. It's really hard nowadays for TV shows to grasp an audience like this. Mm-hmm. You know, we've seen it with WandaVision. We saw it with Loki. Saw it with a little bit with Hawkeye here and there. And I can't really compare the MCU series to one like DC EU series, because I saw someone tweet about it earlier and I was like, okay, like let's pump the brakes here for a second. Like, yes, they're both superhero shows, but it's like they're so different. Because even though Peacemaker is now a part of the DCEU, we don't really know if like, well, Batgirl is not going to be a TV show, is it? No, it's a movie. We don't really know what other TV, like DCEU TV series are coming out. I like that they're doing that. You know, they kind of all have these different pocket universes with Doom Patrol, Teen Titans, and the DCEU, and now, of course, with the Batman. Mm-hmm. And so it's very, you know, they're doing their own thing, and that's what I like. And obviously, Marvel has been sticking to their formula, and it works. It absolutely works. You know, they have their continuity errors from time to time, but you're going to run into that kind of stuff. But overall, I love the show. I was like, wow, this is probably something I would own on Blu-ray if it ever came out on Blu-ray. Yeah. Because they rarely do that anymore.
I know. Well, it's
still
super
waiting
rewatchable.
For WandaVision.
Yes. No. But what I love about this is how rewatchable it is. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mind when my husband's like, because sometimes he'll watch a show. If I got screeners, he'll watch it himself. You know, if I'm like, I want to watch that again. This one, I was like looking forward to it every week. Like, I can't wait to watch Peacemaker with you. You know,
there's so many jokes you can miss that you can catch up on.
Yeah, there's some ones I did miss for sure, especially since I was recording reactions, which always is, you know, you try to talk a little bit so people aren't just like, you just sat there and watched it and you didn't say anything. So then sometimes I would talk over things and miss things, you know. So it was nice to like, I didn't catch that, especially with them. They're throwing stuff out there so much. I mean, the names in that one episode when he's giving all the names that they could have framed instead.
Yeah.
Like, it's so hilarious.
I think that was an ad-lib part, I want to say.
James Gunn said, like, I think part of them were on the page. Mm-hmm. And then John Cena was starting to say random ones. And then also while they were filming, James Gunn would yell out random ones. And then like John Cena at one point said, James Gunn, Freddie Stroma. And it's like, and then he goes, what did Economos say? He goes, those aren't even real things. I was like, this is so funny. Because then James Gunn tweeted, I'm not, because people were saying James Gunn is canon. And he was like, I'm not canon because he said they're not real. And I was like, that's so great.
But Ariana Grande is canon.
Yeah, yes, exactly. For sure. So I do feel like we're getting into the spoiler territory.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, everyone out there listening, that is your first spoiler warning here on the show. Again, that is your second spoiler warning here on the show. So if you haven't seen the season finale of Peacemaker or Peacemaker at all, it's waiting for you right on HBO Max. It's right there. You know, like I know some people don't pay for streaming services. I don't want to know how you get it. But if you watch it some other kind of way, just watch it and then come back and listen to the rest of the episode. So I really want to talk.
Do we just want to talk about the big giant cameo at the end of the season? Like, do we just want to start with that?
Well, 2 cameos and 2 shadows.
Okay, listen, when they show, so we're talking about the Justice League shows up a little too late, which I love that John Cena, or I should say Peacemaker, just calls them out. Yeah, which was great. But we saw the shadows and I thought that was going to be it. Like, I don't know about you guys, but did you expect to see either of the actors?
I didn't expect that scene.
Yeah, I didn't expect any close-ups.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it at all. Like, I know, they mentioned, like, oh, call the Justice League. Like, I thought it was just a throwaway line. And it's like, holy crap, they're here. Like,
I know. Exactly.
At least 3/4 of them are here,
Right. And then they show shadows and I'm like, oh, this is all they're going to do. Like, that was cool. Then they close up and I'm like, oh no, they're here. And then they talk about the Aquaman thing. Yeah. Which was my favorite joke of the entire season. So I was like, my life is complete. Like, this is the perfect show. Like, that moment was amazing.
Because that very easily could have been done, like, pretty poorly, I would say. Like,
oh, yeah.
He could have the Justice League come in and save the day. He could have had them just come in and be shadows, like all of them. But he nailed it with the callback to that joke from episode 1, like, complete full circle.
I will say I've seen a lot of people mad about it online, but they're
really...
they're tearing down. Aquaman worked so hard to get respect, and now I'm like, it's a joke.
It's a joke.
It's a fictional person
who has relations with fish.
I'm sure Jason Momoa is very very confident in himself.
I feel like he loved that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. When we saw the silhouettes, I'm like, wow. I'm like, that actually looks like Jason Momoa. Then they kind of do like a close up without showing it, like revealing his face at first. I'm like, that's Jason Momoa's facial structure. I'm like, holy crap, it's him. And then they cut to X with him and Ezra Miller. And of course, we see the silhouette of Superman and Wonder Woman.
No Batman.
Or Cyborg.
Oh. I think they just no Cyborg. That one's kind of
but it's. I thought it was brilliantly done. I mean, I'm like, is that Gal Gadot over there? I don't know. Like, maybe it could have been her. I was like, but we just see the silhouette, so maybe it was just a stand-in. And of course, we don't know who is playing Superman, because that's the one thing everyone cares about. And
I know. Well, so here's the thing. It definitely wasn't Gal, because they would have showed her face. They would have done something. Maybe she would have been staring at him, like looking him over. Remember, he made that joke about Wonder Woman.
I across the room.
Yeah, exactly. So probably she either didn't want to be a part of it or couldn't work it out or whatever. But I don't know. I've seen a lot of people wonder, who's that Superman? It's no one. It's just a random Superman.
It's the same thing with in Shazam. It's like, that's not Henry Cavill coming in Superman. Like, I'm sorry. It's just a random dude. Like the magic of, like putting all this on screen, making it seem like it's a certain way. It's like, oh, well, it's like, it could, but they're probably never going to tell you. And even if they
leave
do,
it to the DCEU to not have their most famous character.
Because like, I mean, with Batman, they don't really have, I mean, like, we have a Batman, but we don't have a Batman for DCEU. And I really don't know what's going to happen with, Flashpoint, but I was not expecting, I just love how they literally arrive so late.
I know.
And it's like the fact that it's Flash, and I'm like, this is too perfect. That was an out of the blue cameo for me, at least. I did not expect to see them whatsoever. And I like how the season finale, and I feel like Marvel does this sometimes, and I think me and Devin have talked about it, where, they build up every single show, every single week, they're showing new clips, new footage. And then it somehow ends up that the penultimate episode is more, than the actual series finale. And they're like, even for Yelena, they're like, oh, who's going to be in Hawkeye? It's like, we already know she's going to be. You told us like 2 years ago. But I really appreciate that cameo, because nobody expected it whatsoever. And it was just, James Gunn and, the cast and the crew, they're just going to let the show speak for itself. Mm-hmm. And that's what I really appreciated about it.
Yeah, well, I really appreciated too how Peacemaker, like, doesn't care. He walks by, you're late. Like he doesn't like nobody stops to talk to them. You know, he's just like, what are you doing? And they just walk by him. Like he's carrying hardcore. They just walk right by. Don't even stop. Like, hey guys, thanks for coming. Thanks for this. You're late. Thanks a lot. Go have fun with the fish. Bye.
That was
like,
so funny. Like, he's just like, you're late. I'm like, no. Sorry, Devin, go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. But yeah, so that's definitely the biggest thing I definitely wanted to talk about. But just throughout this entire season, you know, we get these, you know, the alien creatures of the butterflies. And I thought the reasoning for them trying to, in a way, guide humanity into, you know, a certain way where, you know, us as humans were either we were too distracted by superficial things, essentially, in order to get things done for the survival of our race. I thought that was a very interesting, you know,
very on topic.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. I mean, Adam McKay kind of, you know, covered that earlier, but I think this is nice as well. Like I welcome it 100%. But I kind of wanted to go through, you guys. Was there anything you guys wanted to talk about that we haven't been able to talk about yet? I know we've been gushing over the cameos and whatnot, but we'll start with Tessa and then we'll go to Devin, and then we'll kind of talk about a few little other Easter eggs if you guys noticed in there.
Yeah, I just love the whole emotional arc for every single character. Like every single one had a fantastic arc. Of course, you've got Chris Peacemaker, who's dealing with his dad, all the way to killing his dad, to then his dad showing up in ghost form. And like, the thing I liked about that is that James Gunn didn't just be like, oh, he killed his dad and that was it. Obviously, he's going to have some issues and some PTSD from that. So it was
He's
lovely
like the Terminator.
that they got
He's coming. He'll be back.
So I love that they didn't just like wipe that away. Like he killed his dad and then we're not going to talk about it in the final episode. I felt like it was really important that they dealt with that. And then hopefully in season 2, it seems like from the final shot, that's going to continue. I love that he let the butterfly live too. I felt like season 1 or episode 1 Peacemaker would have like not killed the cow and sided with the butterflies. And it took that whole arc to get him to the point where he was like, no, like this might be, I like get your reasoning, but like, no, which I really loved. I love Leota going from not even wanting to be a part of this job to running in guns blazing, you know, to be the savior there, so to speak, at the end, which I really enjoyed. Vigilante, I don't think he changed at all from the first episode to the final episode, but I'm fine with it because I love him. I'm sad we lost Myrn. That was really, I kind of had started to like him a lot, and then I was like sad that he went away. And then Economos had his arc where, you know, he's starts off like so alone kind of, and then now he is part of this team. And same with Harcourt, who was very like, I'm just doing my job. Like just cut with like when he first shows up at the bar to talk to her, for example, she's very much, well, is this about work? No, then go away. You know?
Very Robin Scherbatsky. I've got those vibes from Harcourt.
She's so good.
Yeah, like very lone wolf, you know, like I like to get things done, and you know, I'm here to do my job, and then I'm here to go home, you know, have a drink at the bar, and then that's it.
And then at the end, she's like holding hands with Peacemaker, and like, you know, I did think she was gonna die this episode.
I thought she was going to. Yeah, I thought she
got shot up quite a bit.
Yeah, I don't know how she lived that long without being in the hospital, but I'll allow it.
Yeah, that
like
was the only thing. I'm like,
license.
you're looking pretty messed up there. Are you good? It's like
she's got blood poured out of her mouth. She's fine.
Because like we really don't know, even when, because she almost got taken over by one of the butterflies. We don't know like what that like, you know, when Abdayo comes in and she kind of like, she has to like kind of rip it out. Like it wasn't just like a no, get away from my friend's mouth kind of thing. It was like she had to like do a little bit of a tug of war thing there.
Yeah, I think she used both hands to pull it out. It was like, get out of here.
What is this process?
It's gross.
Well, they didn't necessarily show us, but just it happening was like.
Well, then even Harcourt like coughing after, because I could imagine it like in the throat.
Yeah.
That's gross.
Yeah, but I do agree. She did lose a lot of blood, and there was a lot of time in between her going to the hospital
Like when blew up the cow. Like they did a lot of stuff.
Superman could have picked her up and flew her to the hospital a little quicker.
Flash could have brought her. I mean, at that point,
that would have been the best case scenario for her.
Superman,
nope. No help, Justice League. No,
you just
help.
see a blur like flying through the sky. It doesn't even show you the thing. That would be hilarious. Oh my gosh! But Devin, I'll turn it over to you. Anything you wanted to bring up that we haven't gotten to yet?
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was the perfect ending. He made peace with the aliens, just kind of complete full circle there. I did not expect them to have a connection with the alien, but the alien kind of grew fond of him as a human, saw potential in him as an actual human race. And then I also love the juxtaposition between Peacekeeper or Peacemaker. I always get those confused. Peacemaker and Adebayo, because they're very similar characters at the end of the day. They both have a parent who kind of ran their lives and are not great people. Peacemaker more than Adebayo, but they're both not good people. Amanda Waller does not care about human life. But yeah, it's cool to see them just be so similar as people, but also different in their beliefs, but come together in the end and just form a nice friendship. It's cool to see a character like Adebayo take the front stage, because you don't usually see that.
Yeah, especially. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and how about the fact that she just turned on her mom at the end and like totally
Called
ratted
her
her
out.
out? I did not expect that to happen. I thought now I'm like, what's gonna happen in season 2? Like Amanda Waller's just gonna roll over and take it. Like she's gonna. That's gonna be intense, I think.
She's like BT Dubs. I'm also her daughter. Mic drop. Like what? It was crazy.
Mic drop. I'm out of here.
It's crazy because I like how Adebayo when she talks to Peacemaker about his father, and him being the type of person that he is, being a very prejudiced, racist human being, and essentially being the leader of the clan. I'm like, it's crazy stuff, but it's it's kind of how she's trying to break him out of this self-guilt of essentially living in the past of everything that happened with his brother, and then his father blaming that death on him when he was just a child, and the emotional scarring that can have on someone, and him with Chris or Peacemaker acting very rude and very vulgar towards everyone else that he meets to kind of push them away, and him not being able to deal with those problems. Like he faced a few demons in this season, but of course, with his father, them bringing that actor back to essentially be kind of like, a Force ghost or whatever. I think it's a very clever way, because it's starting to deal with more of his psyche, with Peacemaker's psyche overall, and just everyone's a little bit broken at the end of the day, but it really just I don't know, I really just like how they gave Peacemaker so much depth and understanding, and how he affected everyone, even Vigilante, when Vigilante goes to essentially take out Chris's father in prison, and just like
and dismantles the idea of institutional racism to these
my God.
Like
prisoners.
Best friend
That's
of
one of the
the
best
year.
That was a great scene.
Friend of the year. Like
I also just want to shout out Freddie Stroma, because the original Adrian Chase Vigilante actor dropped out due to creative differences.
Oh, really?
5 episodes in.
Yeah,
They had
5
to
episodes
redo.
deep.
Yeah, they had to reshoot 5 episodes with Freddie Stroma.
Really? I
So
did
he
not
came
know
in
that.
Never
and
know.
had to reshoot all of it, basically.
Wow. Power of
And he
editing.
pulled it
right?
off so well. I feel like he's like the character that people are latching onto the most, because he's getting a lot of love. I feel like a spinoff is definitely coming for him.
Did you think he was going to die when he got shot?
I don't know where he went. He just kind of
I thought
He
wandered
fell
off.
over first. He just passed out for a minute. He was taking a nap.
He guys shot in like the
afraid.
back.
Yeah. Well, it was like kind of, and then he like grabbed his side, and I was like, is he going to die? But then he fell over, and I was like, But at the same time, I was like telling myself they can't kill someone, right? They're going to have a season 2. They just announced they were going to have a season 2. you know they have to have a good group of people. But then I'm also like, but it's James Gunn and he likes to just kill people.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I'll never understand the announcing of season 2 before the finale of season 1. It's just like
they get
stakes
people
be
to
gone.
jump on board, right? They're like, if you haven't watched it yet, there's gonna be a season 2. You might as well start watching it now.
Yeah. Well, even Devin, during the Paramount Plus, they had, their little Investors Day. The Halo series hasn't even dropped yet, and they announced the season 2. So it's like, I mean, we even saw that with The Mandalorian. They were like, yeah, we got season 2 and 3 on the way. I'm like, what? Like,
well, Stranger Things today too. They were like, well, we got 5. We're gonna have 5 seasons, and 4 is not coming out yet. Like
4
that's coming
and
up.
4.5 and 5.
Right, exactly. I know that's a whole nother conversation.
wait, oh yeah, the 4, yeah, that's right.
Because it's gonna be half and half or whatever.
Half and half, and then they're also doing spinoffs after season 5, I believe.
Didn't they learn their lesson?
Yeah, no, apparently not.
they experimented in season 2.
They tried.
They tried, but no one was having it. They're like, no. We gotta come back. Come back to the group, 11. Come back to the group. It was, man, oh man. I didn't really like all that much. But it's, I don't know. When it comes to announcing it, I mean, I get it. Like, James Gunn was like really, really excited, and he's coming back to write and direct every episode of season. Yeah, which is really cool.
I wanted to ask you guys, who do you think is getting the other Suicide Squad spinoff that got announced?
Ratcatcher. I think it's going to be
You think so?
Ratcatcher, yeah.
Or
I think
Ratcatcher
it's
2, I should say.
Yeah, Ratcatcher.
I think it's going to be, it could be Shark. What's his name? Shark guy?
King Shark.
King Shark.
No, I feel like
Get Stallone.
That would be cool. Listen, I think it's going to be Ratcatcher 2, and I think they're going to bring Taika in to do some stuff
that'd be amazing.
Because I think Taika and James are like pretty tight, pretty good friends.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
They're very similar creatively. I remember when they took James off of Guardians 3, which I'm so glad he's back now. But I immediately thought, if literally anybody can actually take this and finish his trilogy, it's Taika.
Yeah.
It's the only one who could.
Honestly, like James Gunn, being removed from Marvel is probably one of the better like things that could have happened. Because I mean, he's he's a lover.
Won. Everybody came out on top.
Everybody won. And I love it. And I feel like during that whole thing, I feel like Marvel they had to buy the books, and then, but it's so crazy how things work out, really. He gets to work with DC and finish his trilogy out with Marvel, which is fantastic. I'm very, very happy for him that he's able to, he has that opportunity. It's crazy stuff. But I guess the little Easter egg I wanted to bring up, we kind of talked about it before we started recording, was that Marvel actually helped James Gunn film. I believe it was the cameo scene. Or was it?
Yeah.
I need all the
Ezra,
details on this.
Yeah, Ezra. Yeah.
I need to know how this all happened. How this all went
on
down.
the set. So apparently there was something that DC did for Marvel, so then Marvel was kind of paying back to DC, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I think someone on Twitter kind of broke it down a little bit, or there was some kind of like screenshot from like an article, but I haven't been able to find the full article. But
I think it was Variety, but I haven't been able to find it. But someone said it was on Variety.
Okay.
What was the reasoning for like asking Marvel to film this?
They were filming Guardians 3, and they said, "Oh, we can add this into our finale. That'd be cool." And they came and they filmed it, and so it makes me like happy for the future. Like these two, they can get along. Can't DC and Marvel fans get along? I feel like the answer is usually no.
Devin and I have been thinking about that. Yeah, and you can love everything, and I mean, Devin and I have been on that train when it comes to like video games. Like it's growing up, it was either Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, and it's like, well, can I have like 2 consoles? Which usually wasn't.
It's okay.
Yeah, you can have 3 if you have the funds for it. Go for it, like 100%. But it's like, and sometimes I get it. Sometimes you have to pick and choose financials and whatnot, but I agree. It's like these companies don't hate each other. Like Marvel and DC do not hate each other at all. And I don't know where this whole stigma is, where it's like, oh, like even within Star Wars, within the fandom itself, it's like no one is like, you can't hate Star Wars unless you're a Star Wars fan. Star Wars fans, want nothing more but the same. Well, I actually saw a meme of two people fighting, and it said Star Wars fan, Star Wars fan. And then there was another Star Wars fan sitting there watching the other two Star Wars fans fight. That's literally what that fandom is. But I just want people to love what they love. Peacemaker's great. Obviously for the longest time between 2015 to 17, 18, DC wasn't in the best spot because I feel like they were trying to copy Marvel. They were trying to just, when the Justice League came out, I had no clue whatsoever.
Well, it's exactly like Marvel did it right? With the Avengers, they gave people solo movies and they let you know who these people were. And then DC's like, here's all these people you don't know their backgrounds. Here you go. Let's put them all together in a movie. And you're like, what is happening? Why are you doing this? I would like solo films first.
Exactly. And now, DC's starting to, they're finding their own footing. It's okay to have funny jokes and stuff within Peacemaker, because you can see a lot of the Guardians DNA when it comes to James Gunn's style within this show. And it's okay to have fun. Not everything has to be super serious, but at the same time, if just focus on what you want to accomplish with that specific property and you're going to be fine. It's like with the Batman, I love how we're getting a Batgirl movie and then a Blue Beetle movie as well. And I think we're getting another Superman movie. And it's not everything has to be connected as long as they tell, the stories they want to tell and they tell them well. That's all people really care about. Not everything has to be connected. When Marvel does that, I love the big grander Marvel, lore and whatnot. I absolutely love it. I guess you can say I am more Marvel than DC when it comes to I usually side with Marvel with a lot of stuff, but I still love the DC, DCEU and whatnot, but it's it's okay to like both people.
It is. I know. Well, I was proud of DC for letting James Gunn make fun of them, because I will say immediately again with that Aquaman joke, I was like, I can't believe DC greenlit that joke. And then it just continues as the season goes on, and he gives the Batman stuff, and just I think pretty much every member of the Justice League, more or less, he has some they even talk about it in the finale, right? They're like, don't listen to him, he has some crazy story about everybody. Well, I actually know that Brony one to be true. It's I love that they're able to make fun of themselves, because that's important, and I think I was impressed and proud of DC for allowing that. I guess I was like, good, thank you, because that was funny. And I see people online being like, that was mean, I can't believe they made fun of them, and I'm like, whatever, it's a joke.
Even with Teen Titans Go to the Movies, if anyone hasn't watched that movie, I absolutely love it. And they poke there's a Stan Lee cameo in that movie. It's actually, I think that was the first review we ever did all together back when we had a YouTube channel. Don't look for it, but it's, I love how I love it when studios, no matter if they're numbers are quote unquote successful or whatnot, I just love how they're able to make fun of themselves.
Yeah.
And it's because it's all about having fun at the end of the day. You want to make, good content, but it's just all about just telling the stories you want to tell. And if people are going to enjoy them, that's fine. Not everyone's going to like it, but it's just be more like Peacemaker or Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, and even Teen Titans Go to the Movies. That movie was just so hilarious.
The last line. I was at the movie theater with my kids, and I was like, oh no, please don't have paid attention to what Robin just told you. And they didn't. It went over their heads, but I was like, they did not just say that.
Yeah.
But I was dying laughing. It was so funny.
It is hilarious. And I'm just do more stuff like that, and just I've absolutely loved this season. In hindsight, I've loved the season of Peacemaker. Can't wait for season 2. So let's get into final thoughts really quick. And then we'll do final thoughts and rating all together. We'll go with Devin and then Tessa, then I'll close this out because I know we're a little bit short on time today.
So I actually looked it up. I found the reason, the thing that DC helped Marvel with. Chukwudi Iwuji, who played Myrn in this series, they shot his screen test for Guardians 3 during Peacemaker.
Oh, that's what it was.
So he's going to be playing a mystery character in Guardians 3, which is exciting. Because he killed this role. I who's going to play, but we'll that's another conversation for another day. We can get into it, but
for sure. But
I love the series overall. I feel like my score it just has to be in the 80s based on the soundtrack and aesthetic of the show. I'm gonna go with an 88.
Okay. All right.
88.
Nice. Tessa, what about
What's
you?
wrong with you? No, I'm just kidding. I loved
Nothing
it.
less than 99.
Right. No, listen, I'm a massive James Gunn fan. There's no secret about that. I literally have his autograph tattooed on my body. Like I have a
Nice.
Guardian. You guys can't see people listening, but I have a Guardians of the Galaxy sleeve with James Gunn's autograph on it. I just think he's so talented. One of my favorite things about him is when he tackles an ensemble cast. And I think he brought so much to this, and each and every character and actor brought so much to this series. I laughed, I cried, I danced. Like, oh, real quick, we didn't talk about it. Can we talk about how amazing it was that they threw that theme song in to the massive big fight?
Yeah.
Oh,
They threw it back in.
Yeah.
They brought it in, and they were like, because we're trained to smile during that, and then they practically killed two of the people. Ugh. But it's just, James Gunn is so smart. It's 100. I mean, 10 out of 10, million out of a million, 100 for me. I can't. The only issue, like I said, I have is like it was similar-ish to the Starro story, but whatever. I don't care. It was still fun. So
Yeah.
The butterfly, I thought the butterflies were really cool, really well
and
done.
that's unique to James Gunn. Like that's not from the comics. He made that up.
Oh, really? Okay. Nice. I like that a lot. And even with Chris's father, like, I mean, I thought the just any type of CGI that they use, it looked authentic, it looked real. I believe on Serialized, which is actually, it's like Letterboxd, but it's strictly for TV. It's up and coming, but I've been using it for the past few weeks. I actually like it a lot. But I would give it like this. I saw like 4.5 out of 5. It's really, really good. The small little nitpicks. I was like Tessa said, the whole, Jennifer with Harcourt surviving that long. I was like, I thought she was dead. I was like,
I think everyone.
Well, she's my favorite
dead.
character, and I was like, no.
It's James Gunn's girlfriend. He's not going to kill her. He's got to live with her.
See,
it's James Gunn's favorite character. Too.
We did not know that whatsoever.
You didn't know that's his girlfriend?
Nope, I had no clue.
We found out today. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. During Valentine's Day, I was like, oh, okay, cool. I had no clue. That's awesome.
She stuck by him through the whole, Marvel thing.
Oh,
so they've been together for a while. Yeah. So.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah.
So in other words, he couldn't kill her because he has to live with her.
Yeah.
Sorry, babe.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to go.
I would not want to be him if that's the script that came out.
No, not at all. But yeah, I 4.5 out of 5 for me. It's it is truly something special for DC. I will watch it again in a heartbeat. If you need something to kind of just get you through the week, or even just to prep for season 2. This is a series. Usually I don't go back and rewatch like the previous series of like a new series that's coming out. Sometimes they'll try to find like a crash course of like what happened in the season before. But for this, I would definitely go through this journey again, for sure. So 4.5, I guess that's like a 95%. I really don't know.
100. Change.
100?
It's 100. No.
So, but it's really good. I was very surprised. I didn't expect it to like stink or anything. I just didn't know what to expect.
It just kind of had like a snowball effect. Just the more you kept watching, the better it kept getting. And it kept getting more hype on Twitter and everything. People kept jumping on and just enjoying it.
And James Gunn does such a good job with interacting with fans on Twitter and interacting with everybody. So I think that helps with the hype, He'll answer questions like all day on his Instagram stories too. He'll do like, Q&A. I'm sitting here in a car for an hour. And so I think that helps because people feel more connected to it when they can get an actual answer. Like, hey, I have a question about this. And he's like, oh yeah, this is what we did. Yeah. Like I asked him on Twitter about, in the scene where John Cena's like praying over Eagly when we think Eagly's dying. And he's like crying. And I'm like, wow, what was he acting against? Because that was like a really powerful scene. And he's like, a gray blob. And I was like, what? That's insane that he can just like love this gray blob like it's his pet, Yeah,
so. Eagly was pretty well put together. I was like,
until he failed this finale.
Bad boy.
Dropped the ball.
Bad.
I know.
Literally dropped the ball. Oh my gosh. Well, that pretty much concludes our coverage of Peacemaker season 1. Just want to thank Tessa so much for coming on to the show. This is, it's been, I've been following your work for a very long time. I think it's awesome, everything that you do. I could not run a YouTube channel the way that you do, and as many as other people like Leo, Amanda, Real James. I don't have the energy. I just don't. But I respect the heck out of you guys for covering everything, putting your faces on camera, multiple times a week. I mean, I'm not camera shy. It's just, I don't know.
It gets to be a lot. I can't just, I will say though,
like, I don't wake up this beautiful.
I have done some recordings in like a big sweatshirt and I'm like, I don't even care. Like people are going to deal with it and they're going to comment, but like, I don't need to like do my makeup and hair and put on a pretty outfit every single time. I can't do it. Sorry. Yeah. Life happens. Like this is what you get.
Exactly. But let everyone else out there know where they can find you on the internet and what is coming up on your channel and your website.
Yeah, so I run the entertainment website, mamasgeeky.com. You guys can find me on social everywhere, Mamas Geeky. It's spelled MAMASGEEKY. I know there's several ways to spell mama, so that's how you spell it there. I'm on YouTube. I just posted reactions to every episode weekly. I have the Legend of Vox Machina reactions coming up. Lots of good stuff. The Adam Project review is going to eventually come out. That was so far my favorite movie of the year. Really? Covering the Batman, lots and lots and lots of stuff. So, mostly movies, TV. That's pretty much all I cover. Sometimes, occasionally a video game, but I have to find the time to be able to sit and play a video game. So that's not easy.
Yeah. Fun facts. We actually originally started out as like a video game YouTube channel. And we're like, wow, this takes, it's not that it was the YouTube part, but it's like, everyone, like there was 4 of us originally. And it's like, everyone buying the same game, playing the same game within a certain amount of time. It does take, it takes a lot. I mean, when it comes to game critics, I have nothing but respect for them as well, because they much like us when it comes to, movies and TV, sometimes we really can't just sit back and enjoy things because we're always looking at it within a critical eye. And it's like, I was talking to, I forgot the name of I think his name is Tony something online. And he's a critic. And, I was talking to him. He's like, it's great. We get the game, free games, whatever. But like the trade-off is, you have to play it a certain way and, obviously give them a review, like, and not just like, I have. Yeah. Like, yeah. He said like, I can't enjoy video games the same way that everyone else does. And I was like, I definitely resonate with that because there's been times where, besides Euphoria, I'm just enjoying Euphoria. I'm just sitting back. I have no agenda with it. I just want to watch it just to watch it. So it's like, but again, Tessa, thank you so much for coming on. We'd love to have you back on. Of course. Anytime. So for everyone out there who's wondering what's coming up on the show. So we've been very busy. It's only the beginning of the year. Did not expect to have this much out already, but of course we have our Book of Boba Fett season 1 review that's out. Our Raised by Wolves episodes 1 through 6 review with Leo from Geekly Goods. Shout out to Leo and his HBO special. I love Leo. Absolutely love him. And recently we did we are continuing our franchise revisited series with The Hunger Games Catching Fire. That episode is already out. And I believe we have Uncharted coming up. Woo!
That's fun.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. And of course, we're going to be covering Moon Knight. We're going to be covering Halo as well and a few other things we have in the pipeline for March. This year for March actually feels a lot less crowded.
You say that now. Year. Don't jinx us. I say that every month. I go, there doesn't feel like there's a lot out this month. And then there is.
Yeah, that is, it's always the surprises that come out. But man, last March.
Surprise, Judo Master spinoff dropping in March.
Exactly. It's like, no,
it's just him and Flamin' Hot Cheetos. That's all it is.
That was fantastic. The action was, oh my gosh, just so good. But those are just a few things we have coming up on the podcast again. Our Uncharted review will be dropping on February 21st. I think we're going to see it over the weekend. yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna think of that movie.
I know.
I want to go in with an open
too.
mind, open mind only for sure.
I'm trying. It's hard.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just want to go play the video games again, but you know, it is what it is. I know Devin's been playing some Uncharted action, so
I've been playing Last of Us again because, I played it. I never played the second one, and I played the first one like I had just had my daughter, and so I would play it like when I was up in the middle of the night with her. So I don't remember it at all because I was so like mindlessly, you know, it's like 4 a.m. and I'm like, I'm so tired. I'm just going through the motions, like. So I just started replaying because it came up free on PlayStation Plus or whatever it's called. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to play the first one, then I'll play the second one. And I was originally thinking I was going to have to rush, but now we just found out the series isn't coming out until next year. So I guess I have time.
I mean, it is the 10-year anniversary next year of the first game. So that makes sense. I mean, I still have the House of the Dragon, still got His Dark Materials coming out this year. I'm very excited for that. So, I mean, we'll see. But yeah, Last of Us it's my favorite video game franchise. I absolutely adore that series. I mean, Naughty Dog's one of my favorite game developers as well. But The Last of Us was just, I don't know how I'm going to feel about the TV show because I feel like, you know, it's already told in the best medium that it can be, which is video games. But I'm very interested to see how they expand on the story. So, yeah, definitely.
I'm excited to remember the story. As I'm playing it, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. Like, because it just was one of those things that like, you know, went one ear out the other. Like, I just don't remember it at all. Exactly. I'm like, I know I beat it. I don't remember what happened.
Like, I know I beat it. It's like my trophy list is right there. It says I beat it, but I don't remember. I don't remember a single thing.
No, like I was just sitting there with her, like on my lap, like falling asleep as I play. Wake up and I'm dead. I'm like, oh no, what happened?
It's like, did I play video games last night?
Right, that's the life of a new parent. So
there you go. There you go. I'm not there quite yet, but well.
I was there 10 years ago. That makes me feel very old.
Thanks
for pointing out that it was the 10-year anniversary.
Or Tess, you're not a day over 25. It's all good. It's all good.
Sure, we'll go with that. I like that.
But a little bit of a few calls to action here before we wrap up. Make sure to always share an episode of our show to a friend, whether it be your mother, your brother, your lover, whoever it is. Share them an amazing episode that we have here on the podcast. You know, if you know someone who's a big movie buff, like, hey, I got this awesome podcast and wanted you to check out. You know, they cover everything from, we pretty much cover everything. I don't think we discriminate. Yeah, I feel like we've gone through some really weird stuff. We've covered some strange things, and you know, whatever sounds interesting is something we kind of just, you know, we want to cover. But we are definitely going to be doing a few, mixing up a few things here on the show. Going to be bringing back like our what was it? Our draft series as well, and a few others. You know, it's fun doing reviews, but you want to kind of like mix it up a bit. But definitely keep an eye out for that, everything on the Twitter, and also make sure to leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and or Spotify. So let's wrap up here for today. Again, Tessa, thank you so much for coming on. Everyone, thank you so much for listening. And that's a wrap for today. Thank you all for listening. And if you enjoy the show, leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And follow us on Twitter or Instagram to stay in the know. That was Tessa, Devin. My name is Christian. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Peacemaker.